with animation, our day-to-day, at least auditioning, is commercials. Because there's more commercials every day auditioning than cartoons.
I mean, that was the bulk of my paycheck, you know, between Gem was like, Bob and I did a commercial together for Mutual Bank of Omaha.
See,
We played a married couple.
I couldn't remember the name of the bank, and I was looking for it in my audio files because I was going to send it to you, because I had on my demo forever.
I did too. Well, we had the same ages.
We did.
So Arlene put our commercial on.
We were good in that spot. We were sweet, we were romantic.
Do you remember any of the dialogue?
I just remember it was like, something like, you think we can afford it? Something like that.
Well, we'll need that for all the babies.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was like they're planning their life. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It was sweet, it was wonderful. I'd hire this too.
yeah.
We have another question out here.
Mr. 404.
That's right. Hi, Michael. So, talking about being, like, you know, say for you, Jamie, being here versus LA, or Tom Kane being in Kansas City and stuff like that, or St. Louis, where is that? Anyways,
Kansas City, Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay, thank you. Does that, because like I work with a lot of musicians, in particular, like I had a conversation with, you know, a pretty prominent bass player who's based out of LA, and I saw him a couple months ago. I was like, hey, I heard you're in Nashville, and he's like, who told you that? He was getting like cranked off. He's like, basically the mentality for that is, you know, if you're not there, you can't make the auditions, forget about it, and you know, and sometimes in his case, it's like, yeah, other musicians will say you've moved, so they'll get your gig. So I don't know if that's the same type of thing. It's like, you know, if a director or producer will say, you know what, you know, he's out of town, he can't make it, or, you know, just kind of write you off in that regard.
I have definitely lost several jobs because people thought I was out of the picture, unavailable. Because I was so excited about Tennessee. I told everybody, and to my surprise, when I was working on Garfield, the director of Garfield, Mark Emernier, would be like, well, you know, let me know when you're in town, and I'll write you in. I'm like, I am always available for you. You write me in, and let me know, and I will come in. Yet there have been conversations, and now, you know, I just, cat's out of the bag. And I think people will understand that I come back, and I've let people know, like, look, I will come back if I need to. I am available, depending on the project. But it has, it's totally hurt. Totally hurt. So you gotta be, if you want to make that transition, you have to decide if you're gonna tell people or not. But I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, I similar thing because I lived in LA for a million years, moved to Nashville, moved to Texas, just moved back to Nashville. But I remember sometimes you just have to keep it a secret. I was working with, I'm a singer-songwriter as well as doing voiceovers, and I was working with Leonard Cohen. And it was incredible. We were supposed to do his world tour. It ended up getting canceled, but I was rehearsing for about 3 months with the band. And I dared to tell them that I was actually in Claremont staying with my dad, which was like an hour and a half away from where the rehearsals were, because I just didn't want to even infuse any idea that it would be problematic in any way. It's like, I will be there, I will take 4 hours to get to the rehearsal if I need to, and I'll sit in a coffee shop until go time. But yeah, it's feeling it out different. You have to kind of take the temperature in different environments, but it would be easy to get forgotten if you're not out there ringing the bell. If you've moved away.
Totally. I was listening to an interview with Robert Rodriguez. He is the director of Sin City and Dusk Till Dawn, and they're like, yeah, you work with Cheech Marin a lot. He's like, yeah, he just calls me. I mean, like, and I'm glad he does, because I'll just kind of forget it. He's just like, hey man, when's my next part? He just boldly calls him. Yeah. I'm like, well,
I've heard that from so many people, that an actor will be in a film and they just pick up the phone and call the director and say, I want to be in that film. And a lot of times the director doesn't even think that you'd be interested in being in this little bitty movie. I will do anything in that movie. And becomes iconic parts. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now, but
what's her name? From Titanic. I remember she championed that role.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know why I can't think of her name right now.
Kate Winslet. There you go.
Yeah, apparently she wasn't even on the radar,
Wow.
and she badgered. She campaigned, and
Nice.
the rest is history.
I know that, I think this is true. Lou Gossett Jr., who was in An Officer and a Gentleman, that part was supposed to be a middle-aged, fat, white bigot. And he said to his agent, I want to read for that part. They're like, you were so wrong for this part. And he said, no, I want to read for that part. Get me in the room. And he made it his own. He got an Oscar for it too. So, you know, yeah, I mean, when you're an actor, you're supposed to take that part and make it your own. There have been so many times, voiceover auditions, I look at a spot, I'm like, I'm not right for this. They're looking for Don LaFontaine. Who's this deep voice? It was you, by the way. You know. And so I don't try to be what I'm not. I try to put myself into that. And if I'm not right for this, today's audition is an insurance policy for another one. You want them to remember you. Whether you get the job or not is kind of icing on the cake, but if they love your work, they'll think of you the next time you are right for it. So instead of passing on stuff, my advice to all actors is, you have nothing to lose. Give it a shot. Have fun.
Indeed. Even in life, you know, like it never hurts to ask what you want, you know? You never know the answer to
I
yes.
would adopt a little more of your 14-year-old chutzpah. Can't even
Right? Well,
that.
I think when you're a kid, you don't think that this is, if you pardon the expression, ballsy. Looking back now, I'm like, what was I, crazy? Yeah.
Hi. I've got a question mostly for you, Jason Marsden,
Yes.
but you two can answer as well. I watched reruns when Step by Step would come on,
Yes.
when you were in that, and you did some singing parts for some of the episodes, and I was wondering what the process was from going from doing it kind of live action as opposed to being the speaking voice for Kovu in Lion King 2 and then being not the singing voice for him. I mean, your voice is both speaking and singing is very good, so I was wondering, you
I
know.
love you. Thank you. You know, it's funny. So before Lion King was a Goofy movie, and I did not sing a Goofy movie. I booked the role, and then they had me come in again to audition to sing. Like, you got the job no matter what, but we're gonna have you audition to sing. And I'm not a trained singer, you know, admittedly, and I don't know what I was doing wrong. But ultimately they gave the part to a friend of mine, Aaron Lohr, who was funny. I saw him at an audition, and I'm like, hey man, what are you up to? He's like, oh, I just auditioned for this movie. I'm working on this movie. Apparently the kid he can't sing. Then he called me later. He's like, why didn't you tell me that was you? You know, it's with a movie. There's so many cooks in the kitchen. There's so many opinions, and someone just the song quality they wanted, they weren't getting from me. I mean, I can imitate Aaron, you know, and maybe if I had gotten some more lessons, I don't know. Lion King, that was another. My career seems to replace people. They hire someone, they don't like them, so they're like, let's bring Marsden in. I'm like, why can't you just find me first? So there was another actor doing the voice of Kovu. I think it was even John Cusack, I think. And they had already had Cam Clark. He had already done the singing. So it sounded enough. I campaigned. They like, can I try to do the singing? We did a session. They did it for me. Didn't work out. They just used what they had. So it just depends on the project, and step by step, they let me, that particular singing was supposed to be endearing because it's a boyfriend, trying to make up to his girlfriend, so it doesn't have to be perfect.
It was sweet though.
Thank you. But it depends on the project and my confidence, I suppose.
Aww.
Yes.
Hi, really big fan of all of you guys, but this is...
We love you too, man!
I like your suit.
Yeah, well,
Thanks.
yes.
Dashing.
It's supposed to be Archer, so...
Yes.
Yeah. Lana, yeah. So, I really want to be a voice actor in the future, or like do that, and I know like you have to be a good actor, but what steps should you take in order to, get out of just like your living room and just do stuff? For sure.
You said the key word, which is actor. Study acting. Study improv. I think if you've got one check to study as an artist, improv is the best training on the planet because it trains you to get out of your head and commit to choices. Become the best actor you can possibly be, then study voiceover. Now, here's what you guys have that we didn't have when we were starting out, and that's the internet. Because you can just go to YouTube and watch, can watch recording sessions. You can watch tutorials. VO Buzz Weekly by Chuck Duran.
Oh, yeah.
And Talking Tunes by Rob Paulson.
Oh,
They're college courses because they both interview actors, agents, casting directors, and you can learn the business. You can see an interview with Andrea Romano on VO Buzz Weekly and know what she's looking for from talent, what she expects from talent. You can see an interview with Sandy Schnarr and see what she expects from talent as an agent. You could be preparing for this business before you're prepared as an actor.
Huge benefit. Because, yeah, I mean, most of us flew by the seat of our pants back then.
My suggestion is don't do it till you don't put yourself out there till you're ready, because you get one opportunity to impress. And when we started out, I mean, I don't know, I think you guys too had reel-to-reel demos. You did not, okay, you did, right?
I didn't know it actually.
No, I'm old.
It was recorded on reel to reel.
We had cans and a string. Here's my demo. You put together a reel-to-reel demo, and you sent it out. You mailed it out. I spent 10 grand a year with an assembly line, padded envelopes, typewriter, etc., and sent out demos. So let's say you have a crappy demo and you send it out to 100 people. Well, 100 people aren't going to hire you ever, because that's how they will remember you the rest of your career. That's just how it works. But today, people post it online for 100 billion people to hear. And even if you take it down, it's been heard, it's been kept. And agents keep bad demos now. So when they get a submission, they go to their file, they submitted the crappy file, and they're not going to listen, even if they improved. So don't put yourself out there until you're absolutely ready. How do you know you're ready? You will know. There's certain things we do every day that we don't need to read a manual, like brushing your teeth, tying your shoe. You know how to do it. When it comes to voiceover, you will know when you're ready to go out there. You guys know what Voice Bank is?
Yes.
And if you don't know what Voice Bank is, voicebank.net, .org, they bought them all. You can listen to the demos of every working voiceover actor from Nashville to Ireland. And that's what you need to be better than. Because that's what they already have.
And there are great workshops as well that you can get involved in that also will produce a demo for you, when you're ready to have that step. So.
Are you local?
Yeah.
Okay. Look up Tennessee Voiceover Exchange. We meet monthly, and voiceovers for all aspects of voiceover, from audiobook through commercial, e-learning, anything narration, and even touching on some animation. It's not like it's been said, it's not a big industry here, but Atlanta is just down the street, and that's a growing resource.
And no matter what you do well, that can be a demo. I mean, when I was starting out as a reel-to-reel 5-minute demo, then it went to cassette, commercial one side, animation on the other, then it went to CD with 1 million tracks. Now it's all online. I got 12 demos. So, I mean, D. Bradley Baker has a demo of like 30 seconds of insects. Whatever you do well can be a demo. And just because you live out here and there's no animation, very good. Just because there's no animation, was that you?
What?
Do it again.
I didn't do it.
Who did it?
I heard something, but I didn't.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Commercials ask for characters all the time. Audiobooks ask for actors to play different types of characters. So there's character work out here. Maybe not animation, but there's character work.
And work is work. Work is awesome.
Other questions?
Oh dear. I'm scared.
Yeah, all right, my question is for any of you guys, but especially for Jason there. When it comes to like live action animation versus just cartoon animation, which seems to be more difficult?
What do you mean by live action animation? Like
Roger
Rabbit and Mary Poppins? Where they combine the two?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or where you're playing what normally people would see, like, or has been animation. Like Jason, you did Robin in Batman and Robin. They did a live action kind of.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of
So
thing.
you're talking on camera
Mhm.
and voice over?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The differences, the ease between the two.
What's
Well, I
the
just
more
said which
difficult?
one's more difficult for you.
Oh man, it really depends on the project. For me, the comparison between live action and voiceover, they're both fun. Admittedly, I have a huge ego. I love to see myself on camera, so I like pretending. I like putting on costumes and do the blocking and going on location. You know, in a voiceover, you're in a room. I guess what would be most difficult is doing voiceover in a room by yourself. I much prefer to work a cast of these guys.
But it's happening more often now that we're solo. Instead of having the ensemble. Tavernier is ideal because he gets everybody there. But I did 3 years of the Looney Tunes show all by myself.
Really? I was just about to say, because I thought comparatively, like Disney is almost always solo. Warner Brothers is almost always cast, but not the Looney Tunes.
That one series, and I would do each line 3 different ways because they didn't know who Jeff Bergen was doing Bugs and Daffy. They didn't know how he was going to act,
You're doing all these wild lines.
Oh, and it was a nightmare for the editor.
Sure.
Because if the line was like Bugs where's Daffy, they said give us 3 different inflections.
Bugs where's Daffy? Bugs where's Daffy? Bugs where's Daffy?
And they would put it together. And I would think that it would be a little easier to say, schedule everybody together.
It's possible.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. I don't know. That always boggles my mind. And actors are always screaming for that. Like, can we please?
Acting is
It's
reacting.
so much more fun.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, being in we recorded Ensemble for Gem,
Yeah,
and I
well,
mean,
you also
this-
had a wonderful director who would
oh
probably,
my God,
Wally would assist on
was
it. It's
yeah,
radio.
yeah, it is. It was like live action radio.
Yeah.
It really was, and you have like Patricia Pizzazz like screaming at me with her hands flailing in the air, and you know you're reacting to it as a physicality that's helpful, that's awesome, and it amplifies what you're doing. It takes it to that sweet spot that you know you're trying to find by yourself if you're recording by yourself. So
It just makes better performances too.
it does,
Yeah.
so much more fun.
Do you do on camera as well?
Well, I just did in the Jen movie, and I have to say, my preference is voiceover. It's a little daunting. I don't know, maybe it's a female thing. You know, you just feel like you have to be perfect, you have to look perfect. But voiceovers, who cares? You know, you're just going, and it's all about the voice and the communicating that way, which is my preference. It's a little more out of my comfort zone on camera, personally.
I have a question. So you guys had solid careers and get these chances to meet the fans and see the people who have been affected by your work. How has that affected, like, you personally or your performances? Has that been a positive for you, a negative? Have you had and then maybe what has been one of your favorite fan interactions?
I am a fan. And I started, before I was in this business, I was watching Saturday morning cartoons and, eating up every bit of animation I could, and now I'm working with these people. I mean, it's a treat. So I get it. If I wasn't an actor, I would be at conventions all the time. So to be on this side, it's a treat because I can, and then, having done it for so long, and you don't know what when you're working on something, if it's going to be a hit or not, and how it's going to affect people like Jen, or a Goofy movie, or a Spirited Away, and how it helps people. I've had a lot of people who are Goofy movie fans saying like, wow, I watched this show, watched the movie with my dad, really repaired my relationship with my parents. Like, wow, really? I mean, I had no idea, it could do that. So it's awesome, and it makes me want to work harder. It makes me want to work more for you guys, because I can't keep doing this without viewers, without you. So, and like I said, huge ego, love it, feeds the ego, love feeding the ego. That's why I like doing the cons, because I admittedly, I'm not, a millionaire. I'm not, not even like 100,000-aire. I like to travel. I like meeting everyone.
Yeah, I started doing the conventions, I guess, a little over 20 years ago. I went to San Diego Comic-Con for my first one. And when we work in our little studios with all of our little friends and producers, whatever, we have no idea if we're touching anybody's life, other than, hey, this is a fun job, I get to stutter for a living, it's great. And then I went to my first convention, and my only worry was, is anybody going to show up to the panel? Because who's going to know who the hell we are? Walking through the exhibit hall, and I'm seeing people go, I'm like, how do these people even know?
Because they went through the phone books.
I was walking down the exhibit hall. I had a quirky pig tie on. This is my first convention, and this guy who had an autograph booth, he comes up to me and he goes, "Are you a Porky Pig fan?" I said, "A little bit." And he goes, "I have something you'll want." And I go to his booth and he goes, "You got one of these?" And it was an autographed picture of me.
Oh.
And I said, "Actually, I do." He goes, "I'm so sorry." And I said, "No, that's okay. Just out of curiosity, how much do you sell that for?" He goes, "You can have it." I said, "I don't want it. I've got my own." "What are you selling that for?" He said, "$45." Wow, okay. So I started rummaging through his stuff and I found Bill Farmer. And Bill Farmer was $35, so I called Bill. The pig gets 10 more than the goof. I'm just saying. I know a pretty good Bill Farmer.
Yes.
If you ever hear Bill Farmer talk,
Yeah.
you know, he kind of is goofy a little bit, but everyone, I did that at a Disney session once, he goes, "Hey, don't ever do that."
Oh.
Homage, man. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the convention thing is incredible.